getting away from everybody or getting away with everybody. Bring all your special ones. Or just leave them all behind. Options galore. Live your own way in the 7-seat Isuzu MU-X. Go your own way.
Oh, wow! The Matildas strike again. She is the Olympic champion.
Welcome to the new golden era.
It is game on.
Australia and the world come together for the greatest event on earth.
Australia, it's time to celebrate. Oh, she has taken the world by storm. What a beautiful moment.
Experience every moment of green and gold magic.
He's done it.
Only on 9.
And the dream becomes reality.
Your new home of the Olympic Games.
You keep them safe when they are in the water.
You're right. When they were out playing. And when on the road.
Olivia? Childhood immunisation is a safe, free and effective way to protect your kids from serious diseases. Talk to your health professional and get the information you need. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra. Cut through the blah to hear more of what you want. Turn off your pie. No sharing. Book an appointment with our audiology professionals today.
What's your pitch?
Forget the pitch. You've got an itch.
That itch could be dandruff. Silence it. Head & Shoulders removes up to 100% dandruff and itch. Head & Shoulders.
Get set for the game with Sports Power. Start playing this season with the leading brands for AFL, League, Netball, Soccer and Rugby. Gear up with the best, including boots, shoes and protective gear. Visit your nearest Sports Power or shop at sportspower.com.au.
He's over the moon.
I'm excited.
He's waited so long for that.
It's around about 85.
Parallel universes might exist, but why would you ever want to leave your Aussie wool quilt for just $99.99? It's special you can buy at the Aldi Winter Bedding Sale this Wednesday. Aldi, good, different.
This month we have unbelievable savings on our stylish range of shutters, all 50% off. And we also have 40% off zip screens, blinds, curtains, awnings and security screens. At Factory Direct, you get luxe for less.
Tonight, play fair or pay the price. Big supermarkets to face billion-dollar fines if they rip off customers.
A drug dealer pleads guilty to manslaughter after gunning down a man in Newcastle.
The moment a car thief forced beachgoers on the far north coast to run for their lives.
Exclusive on the road with Raptor North as the Special Police Squad marks a year in operation.
And Kalen Ponga's pitch to the Maroons coach before the Origin series.
This is NBN News with Gavin Morris and Natasha Beyersdorf.
Good evening. The nation's supermarkets are being warned to lift their game and lower prices or face billions of dollars in fines.
An interim report wants to see a mandatory code of conduct imposed on giants like Woolworths and Coles to prevent customers and suppliers being ripped off.
Tonight, an interim report into supermarkets promising lower prices or larger fines.
I see this as actually being supportive, not only of the suppliers, but ultimately of shoppers.
The report stating the existing Food and Grocery Code of Conduct is not effective, suggesting a compulsory code with penalties of up to $10 million or 10% of supermarkets' annual turnover, whichever is greatest.
The defining motivation behind this is a fair go for farmers and families. The current voluntary code is too easy to walk away from, and we want to change that.
Ruling out so-called divestiture powers, breaking up the major supermarkets and forcing them to sell land holdings.
The supermarkets own 74% of the market. They are the market. They have you over the barrel.
Unless the concentration of market power of Coles and Woolworths is adequately addressed, nothing will change.
While smaller parties want the supermarket split, the Liberal Party is being split by the supermarkets.
It's a good start, but we also think a targeted divestment power is also necessary.
There is always concern with divestiture powers, whether they will actually decrease prices.
We want our businesses to be profitable and successful, and we want them to hire people.
For producers, new minimum standards for supply agreements are recommended, plus protections for farmers who make complaints against supermarkets.
Having the ability to call out bad behaviour without commercial retribution is really important.
The ultimate test will be whether prices come down. The government keenly aware that groceries are a weekly or sometimes daily reminder of the cost of living battle across Australia. The supermarkets say they are cooperating, and the final report will go to the government in June.
Charles Croucher, NBN News.
So what's been the response from Australia's big supermarkets? Charles Croucher has more.
Both Coles and Woolies helped write the grocery code, and they both agree making it mandatory will help consumers. But tonight, they want the code expanded. In submissions to the Emerson Review, they argue retailers like Amazon, Bunnings and Chemist Warehouse all sell products found in supermarkets and therefore should fall under the code as well. This isn't currently in the review, but those involved say it could be considered. For now, through the sheer number of complaints and reviews that are already going on, the focus will likely remain on supermarkets.
A drug dealer has admitted to fatally shooting a man at a public housing complex in Newcastle almost 3 years ago. Michael Ray fired a single shot into the chest of Wesley Prentice, the admission coming just as he was about to stand trial for murder.
It was a daytime shooting which sent part of a busy Newcastle street into lockdown.
We've just seen more and more police cars pull up, so we knew something serious has happened.
40-year-old Wesley Prentice gunned down in a Derby Street unit by drug dealer Michael Ray.
A male was found suffering a gunshot wound to the chest. He was laying in the lounge room of that premises.
Ray's fatal encounter with Mr. Prentice in July 2021 came during an argument over a debt. He then fled, accompanied by a woman. Today, the now 38-year-old pleaded guilty to manslaughter in Newcastle Supreme Court at what was meant to be the start of his murder trial. At the time, Ray had been on parole for just 6 months after serving a 3-year jail sentence for stealing 39 guns from a Newcastle storage facility in 2016. Ray was ultimately arrested at Bonny Hills near Port Macquarie 10 days later. He was found with cash and a shortened firearm, which was loaded. He remains in custody following today's plea and will be sentenced in June. Tyson Cottrell, NBN News.
A well-known Sydney rapper has been arrested at Bar Beach, Newcastle. State Crime Command's Raptor Squad travelled up from Sydney to take 25-year-old Darcel Sally Ramos from the Group 1-4 into custody this morning. He's just been charged with using an offensive weapon with intent to commit an indictable offence after allegedly threatening and lunging at a man with a large kitchen knife during an altercation at Cranebrook. The flood clean-up has begun for residents along the banks of the Hawkesbury River, a process they've faced many times before. Locals say they've been abandoned and are fed up with a lack of action from the New South Wales government.
It's all gone. It's 6 months' worth of work. Anything from over $100,000 worth of produce at least. Gone.
Richard Spiteri is a third-generation farmer at Wilberforce on the banks of the Hawkesbury River.
I'm going crazy. How much can you take? How much can you take?
He says it's a bitter loss to take, but one that could have been easily avoided if water was released from the almost full Warragamba Dam before the weekend's downpour. He's not the only one thinking the same.
Oh, we lost heaps, yeah. It just wiped the corn out. All the cabbages just flattened it.
Farmers took what they could, machinery, vehicles, even their pets, to higher ground away from the water, while those in the nearby town of Richmond were dealing with what it left behind.
It adds time.
Yeah, and it's about probably a good 45 minutes, hour to go the other way because of the traffic jam.
The debris caught on now bent and buckled guardrails designed to be removed during flood events.
They had plenty of notice to get the rails down. We knew this rain was coming for days before.
I'm absolutely frustrated. At last flood, those barriers had to be replaced, brand new, and they are absolutely decimated again.
It's a responsibility of the state government, led by a premier who the mayor says is missing in action.
He still won't even meet with me, let alone pick up the phone and have a conversation with me about their plans for mitigation.
It's not a simple process reopening the bridge. Engineers have been here across the course of today, making sure that it's structurally okay. Now, the heavy machinery has been called in to help clear all this debris. Debris scattered and washed up on just about every downstream bank, plenty making it all the way to the harbour, where it becomes a hazard. In the Blue Mountains, hazards were pushed aside on a fire trail for a convoy of stranded tourists and campers at Megalong Valley.
There was about 180 stuck down here, I believe, from Friday.
After the only road in and out crumbled away. At Linwood Golf Course in Pitttown Bottoms, greenkeepers were left to tend to the driveway and not the driving range. It's underwater, so too the 18-hole course that'll take 3 months to repair. It'll take about the same time for Richard's farm to recover.
This can be avoided. Change the management of the dam, the infrastructure of the dam.
He's calling that the first step for a community starting out on a long road to recovery. Alex Heinke, NBN News.
2 children aged under 10 are in a serious condition following a single-car rollover at Pacific Pines on the Gold Coast. Emergency services were called to Studio Drive around 5 p.m, paramedics quickly treating the 2 children and 1 adult female. It's believed the car slammed into a tree before rolling. The children were rushed to hospital. The adult is stable.
The controversial Wallam development in Brunswick Heads has reached a turning point. Byron Shire Council has proposed a new site plan aimed at reducing the impact on native wildlife and creating more housing options.
It's been a contentious plan for more than a decade. The Wallam development in Brunswick Heads proposing 123 new residential lots for Torokina Road. But environmental groups fear native wildlife will pay the price.
So the Wallam sedge frogs of particular concern, the Wallam froglet, the grass owl, the glossy black cockatoo.
The development application was approved last year, with Byron Shire Council signing off on the final stages in February. But after negotiations with developers Clarence Property Group, Council has now put forward a new site plan.
Locate the development in the part of the centre of the site where really the ecology is not as significant as the east.
If we can get a better outcome, we will sort of look to work towards that.
The development site now cut from 12 hectares to 11, with a widened buffer between froglet populations. But a community action group camped outside the site still holds concerns for the western end of core koala habitat.
That is still going to be subdivided, and also there's going to be about 1 metre of fill put right across the middle of the site, and that's the area of the coastal heathland.
So let's bring it out of the back room and bring it into the light and make sure that we can actually get some expert opinion on what would it take to connect these threatened species habitat.
The developers will now review changes to the $6.7 million project.
There's some questions that need to be answered and more work to be done as to what's feasible and what's not.
We want to find a solution. We want to save this land and protect the areas that have those highest values.
Alexandra Rees, NBN News.
A police officer was forced to paddle 500 metres on a surfboard to arrest a woman. The 24-year-old is accused of swimming into the Tweed River at Tygalga on Saturday night after allegedly leading police on 2 pursuits. She faced Lismore local court today on 7 offences and remains in custody.
Built in the late 1800s, Coffs Harbour's timber jetty is nearing the end of its life, costing an estimated $30 million to replace it. Council now needs the state and federal government's help to foot the bill.
It stood the test of time as one of Coffs Harbour's oldest and most popular tourist attractions.
It certainly is one of our little stars because people come here, they go for the walk out along the jetty. They can't do that anywhere else.
But it's falling apart.
At this stage, we're looking at probably only 3 to 4 years life left in this jetty. because there's 700 pylons that need replacing. There's all the cross struts. So big job.
One that will cost an estimated $30 million, split between the state and federal governments. But in a major blow, the New South Wales government has now rejected council's funding application.
It's actually very important because for the federal funding, they look upon it very favourably if you've got some state government commitment to go with that.
And there's one sentence in the refusal letter that has the mayor scratching his head. Council may wish to consider ongoing collaboration with Property and Development New South Wales on the Coffs Jetty Harbour foreshore precinct.
What happens down here with the jetty foreshores, whether we go to 450 dwellings down here or not, and whether retain this structure, which is a state asset, they should be considered independently.
For now, it's back to the drawing board.
We will move heaven and earth to make sure that we retain this structure.
The Lands and Property Minister was contacted for comment. Alison Paul, NBN News.
The future of Coffs Harbour's National Cartoon Gallery remains uncertain after its sudden closure 2 weeks ago. Those in the arts industry have spoken out, saying the gallery is of national significance and needs to be saved.
The doors remain firmly shut, with no sign of if or when the National Cartoon Gallery will reopen. Those in the industry in disbelief.
It is a big worry that it's closed. I think that it shows that people aren't actually valuing this kind of thing properly.
The gallery is home to around 23,000 artworks.
It's a historical record of the larrikin side of Australia, and it goes back such a long way. There's work there that's well over 100 years.
You can't put a dollar value on that. It is priceless.
A collection not only unique to Coffs Harbour, but to Australia.
It's up there with the British Cartoon Archive, with the various archives in the US, and even some of the French and the German ones.
The Australian Cartoonists Association told NBN News this is sad for cartoonists and bad news for Coffs Harbour, which would be losing a unique tourist and cultural attraction. While the future of the gallery remains up in the air, NBN News understands that the board is approaching all levels of government in a bid to reopen.
That would be heartbreaking if Coffs Harbour lost that, because its potential is huge. It's just hasn't had the funding. Everyone knows local galleries need support.
Alison Paul, NBN News.
Cosplay creators and characters are preparing for this weekend Supernova Expo on the Gold Coast at the Convention Centre. Hundreds of exhibitors and even celebrity guests like Ivana Lynch, known for playing Luna Lovegood in the Harry Potter series, will be coming together. Ticket holders enjoying everything from superheroes to sci-fi. Day passes start from $42. Doors open at 10 a.m. Not a half bad way to kickstart the week. It is beautiful right across the northern rivers. A little bit cool in the morning, a little southerly kicked in today, but by then we capped the top.
Cheese knife?
Progress is the power to transport you to another place, to create a feeling that transcends words. And once you've experienced it, it leaves you transformed. The Audi RS6 Avant Performance. Excite the senses. Sunburnt country, a land of sweeping plains, of ragged mountain ranges, of drought and flooding rains. When the lucky country isn't so lucky,
lucky you're with Amy.
For the 5th
year running, Sunboost has taken the honours as Australia's #1 largest and most popular solar retailer. More Australians are choosing Sunboost for value and security on their solar investment. Slash your bills with a flagship 6.6 kilowatt premium solar system with Tier 1 panels, now an incredible $41.91. Boost your solar savings further with up to $1,000 off all home batteries. Limited offers held only till April 30.
Get your energy bills reduced. Call 1300 Sunboost.
It's days like these, rediscovering a new freedom, a new time for friends and fun, finding new creative expressions, living in a luxury home, in a luxury world-class resort. The time to look after myself and finding myself again and again. This is my time at Palm Lake Resort.
Every stressless seat is crafted for pure comfort, so you can live in the moment for a lifetime. And right now, save 20% across our entire range. Stressless, featured at Oton's Casino.
At the Australian Caravan Centre, you'll find your dream caravan, offering brand new, pre-owned, off-road, touring and luxury caravans. Our friendly staff will find the caravan that suits your needs and budget. Australian Caravan Centre, Chinderah.
Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has declared the country is a step away from victory in its war with Hamas. Israeli troops have withdrawn from southern Gaza, signalling a potential turning point.
Rubble where there was once residential buildings. This devastating destruction is what's left of Khan Yunis in Gaza's south. Palestinians are returning as the majority of Israel's troops withdraw from the city to rest and refit. But an invasion of heavily populated Rafah is still planned.
We are a step away from victory. The achievements of the war are great. We eliminated 19 out of 24 Hamas battalions.
Thousands of Israelis disagree. Another impassioned protest, this time in the capital. The crowd's critical of the government, claiming not enough has been done to get the hostages home.
People are waiting for their children, for their parents, for their sisters and their brothers, and our government doesn't seem to care.
Delicate ceasefire discussions have resumed in Egypt. The under-pressure Prime Minister declaring there will be no ceasefire without a hostage deal.
We have made clear there's going to have to be some changes to the way the Israeli Defense Forces are prosecuting these operations in Gaza.
Where the conditions become more dire by the day.
There's piles of waste on the street, and you can see it in people's faces too. They're just hungry and tired, and everyone I speak to just wants to know when this is going to end.
A question the world is asking. Jessica Millward, NBN News.
Former Defence Force Chief Mark Binskin has been appointed Australia's Special Advisor on Israel's response to an airstrike which killed aid worker Zomi Frankham and 6 of her colleagues. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says what Israel has provided so far isn't enough.
But we would expect that someone of Mr Binskin's stature, frankly, will be given every cooperation from the Israeli Defence Force and the Israeli government.
2 Israeli Defence Force officers have been dismissed over the incident.
Australia's security pact with its 2 oldest allies will soon have a new partner. Japan is looking to join the AUKUS agreement, a move sure to anger China.
AUKUS is about to become JAUKUS, the 3-way defence pact between Australia, the United States and Britain, to be soon joined by Japan, provoked by China's aggression.
There is a unilateral attempt to change the status quo by force.
Though Japan won't take part in the building of nuclear-powered submarines, it'll help AUKUS partners develop high-tech weaponry, quantum computing and electronic warfare. Like-minded nations determined to counter China's assertiveness, a wrestle US President Joe Biden has previously termed
Democracies versus autocracies.
Japan brings a science and technology and research and development pedigree, which is probably world class.
The deal, which is bound to aggravate Beijing, will be formally announced in the next few hours when Japan's PM Fumio Kishida visits Washington, but it's already receiving bipartisan support.
Japan can contribute to significantly, and we're very lucky to have them as a trusted partner and ally.
We want to make sure that we're using the best technology available.
Even with the AUKUS partnership expanding, it can't possibly match China's military build-up, although the idea is to project collective self-defence, and New Zealand might be next to join.
We've signalled us that we want to explore looking at what the opportunities for New Zealand might be.
But with an NZ and a J to contend with, AUKUS will clearly need a new name. Andrew Probyn, NBN News.
A 28-year-old man has been charged for allegedly stalking rugby league great Andrew Johns. The man was first arrested on March 31, accused of following the Knights legend while surfing in Sydney and later to his home. Just a couple of days on, the man was arrested a second time and charged with breaching his bail conditions. He's due to face court later this week. She was the racehorse that captured the hearts of our nation, but today it was her foal's turn to make racing history. The first offspring of champion Winx sold at auction for a staggering $10 million, smashing the previous record and ensuring she stays on home soil.
A horse with no name, but with a mother everyone knows. And just like the legendary Winx, the filly could pull a crowd.
She is everyone. She's special, really special.
She was preened and polished before being introduced to the racing industry at Warwick Farm, where the heavy hitters have deep pockets.
So we just want someone to turn up with a big checkbook today. We'll be happy.
The bigger the better.
Step forward, American private equity tycoon John Stewart.
100% buying the Winx filly.
So you're sticking to your mantra, you're not bidding, you're buying tonight.
I'm buying the horse.
As lot 391 entered the ring, it quickly became clear he had some serious competition.
$3 million. At $3 million out. 3.5 million.
Records were suddenly smashed.
7.5 million. At 7.5 million. 8 million. $8 million. What do you say, Harry? 9 million.
Before one bidder was left in tears.
At $10 million. At 10 million. Last chance. Done.
The eye-watering price paid by Winx's part owner, Debbie Capitas.
Unfortunately, I couldn't let go of her. I got winning.
So just like Winx did so often on the track, her daughter has made history here in the sales ring today. $10 million, double the previous highest amount ever forked out for a yearling in Australia. So she has an owner, but still no name or a date when she might make it to the races. In the meantime, Winx is again expecting, and the racing world will be wondering, can Debbie resist? Pressure on to keep the family together, right?
That's a huge ask. I've just spent $10 million. Look, we've got to get the foal first.
Damien Ryan, NBN News.
A stunning start to the week, fine locally, but two big features this evening, one being Cyclone Olga off the West Australian coast, and the other is the cold front sweeping across the southeast tonight. This is a decent cold front that is going to run up the south coast tomorrow, so we should manage one more warm day just ahead of the change. Top temperatures in the mid to high 20s before cloud increases across the greater Hunter, mid-north coast and northwest, with showers and storms likely to develop as we push into the afternoon-evening period.
Next, a rare insight. We take you on the road with Raptor North as the squad hunts down its latest target.
A young girl's lucky escape as a crane comes crashing to the ground.
And a snake that popped up in a Tamworth piano.
Australian-made furniture, made for you at Harvey Norman. Have it designed to suit your space. Australian-made lounges built for family life with options in fabric, leather, size and shape. Australian-made dining furniture created to fit your space. Matching buffets, entertainment units and more to complete your look. Australian-made quality and comfort at competitive prices with a range of options available. Support local manufacturers and choose Australian-made furniture. Made for you. Now at Harvey Norman.
Here's to knowing your visa payments are secure all around the world.
So go see it all, taste it all, and do it all. Or do nothing at all. Go wherever your heart beats. Travel with Visa.
Discover the King 1977 sofa, featuring flexible modularity, removable covers, and lasting comfort. Sale packages from only $19.90. Hurry, the King Living Autumn Sale ends soon.
It's like the World Cup for Lego building. You guys have been handpicked to represent Australia. This is Lego Masters Australia versus the world.
The green and gold rectangular.
We're not just representing Australia, we're representing the girls.
This has got a hurt.
Let's break the ice.
Oh, wow!
That's okay. Got me right on the eyeball.
Lego Masters. Australia versus the world.
I'm going to smoke these young ones.
Starts Sunday at 7 on 9.
Electro Dry. Electro Dry. Electro Dry.
You said of wheels.
You bet. I picked her up yesterday.
That last deck of steers must have done well.
Oh, an extra 8 kilo per head well, and it's all thanks to Sidectin Platinum. Dual actives, persistent activity, and a 7-day withhold. Switch to Sidectin Platinum, the next generation dual active pour-on drench for cattle.
Didn't think the budget could stretch to 2 of these.
Not on your Nelly. Batteries, smoke detectors, cooking oils, light bulbs, and more can be recycled at your local CRC for free. Find yours today.
You're watching NBN News. These are our top local stories. A drug dealer has pleaded guilty to manslaughter, admitting he fatally shot a man at a Newcastle public housing complex in 2021. 38-year-old Michael Ray will be sentenced in June. A second coronial inquest has begun into the death of a 17-year-old boy who was found on train tracks near Tamworth in 1988. Plans are being put in place to save Coffs Harbour's iconic jetty as it nears the end of its life. $30 million in funding is needed to replace the 130-year-old structure. Byron Shire Council has changed its development plan for Brunswick Heads to reduce the impact on wildlife. And Papua New Guinea's first neurosurgeon is training on the Central Coast as part of the PNG Angels program.
The owner of a stolen car that veered dangerously into the path of beachgoers near Tweed Heads has spoken about the frightening ordeal. Liam Gale had just finished surfing when he heard the Toyota's engine start.
Off-road and out of control. Holy A brazen car thief mounting the curb in a Toyota Prado, narrowly missing surfers at D-Bar.
It's concerning that these people conduct this behaviour in broad daylight.
The four-wheel drive's owner, Liam Gale, watching it all unfold in slow motion yesterday afternoon.
I just hear my door and then I hear my car start. It's a distinct sound and I turned around and there was this scumbag maggot in my car.
Racing after it.
I tried to rip him out of the car and said some unpleasantries to him and he drove off up the street.
Roger Grassi is seen in this clip forced to run for cover in a bid to protect his 2-year-old daughter.
Just in a survival mode to try to save my life and my little one's life. That's super scary and I'm still shaking just to watch this video.